This is Joan Wheeler. I'm going to be interviewing Mariia at the Carnegie Shadi Memorial Public Library on August 22nd, 2024 for the Immigrant Stories Project. When and where were you born?
So I was born in Russia, in Voronezh city, in 1985.
Can you tell me a little bit about your family background?
Yeah, sure. So my mother was a teacher of French language. My grandmother was a doctor. She was a surgery of nose, ears, and mouth. I don't know. Otolaryngology. Yep. And my grandfather, he was an engineer. So this is three person who growing me up. So I have no father. Raised me. Yep.
And what was your life like when you were growing up?
It was pretty normal and good since we've been in Russia. So I was like a normal kid doing normal things. Just going to school, then going to university, play with my friends, have some relationship. So traveling a little bit, including US twice.
How far did you go in university? Did you graduate?
I graduated, it's about 5 years, so it's higher than bachelor degree. It's like, I don't know how it's explained in English, so...
Maybe master's degree here?
Master's in, it means 6 years, so I've been 5 years. It's like a specialized, so in the middle between bachelor and master's.
And what area did you focus your study in?
It was economy.
Were you able to work in your field?
I don't actually know. So I'm good with numbers, with counting, but nothing special. I mean, it's like just about numbers.
Did you have a professional job?
Not in this field.
What kinds of jobs have you had?
So I used to have like a manager position all the time. So I was a manager of the cinema theater. I was a manager of reception. And then the last one, what I've done, it was about manager of social media. It became popular and gave me an opportunity to get money. And it's a little bit like designer skills, something in art, something arty.
Are you single?
No. So I have a family right now. I have 2 boys, 6 and 11 years old, and my lovely husband.
When did you leave?
My home. So it was on November 2022.
And why did you leave?
Oh, it's a sad story. Long story short, because of the war with the Ukraine, and we were very against this war, and my husband was in dangerous, so he has a military skills, and he are very young for this serving, so he probably will have to go.
You left before they took him to be...
Yeah,
okay.
because he left the country emergency. He was on a fish trip far from home.
Oh, he was on a fishing trip?
Yeah, it's about 5,000 kilometers from home when the mobilization started. So he's never went back home, never. So when we decided that he have to leave, we met each other in the south of Russia after maybe 24 hours after the news released, and I follow him to the Georgia border. Georgia, it's a country. To the border, and then go back home. When I was sure that he crossed the border, I turned around my car because we have separated cars. He was on his own, I was on mine. And then I go back home, and I was having about 1.5 months to prepare it, to move in, to act in next step, yeah, somewhere, yeah. So at that point we had no plans. So it was just a move, left Russia, just be somewhere in safety, some kind of safety.
And so where did you go after that month of preparation?
We met each other in Istanbul, Turkey. So for me it was in November. For him it was in September when he left home.
So you had the boys, but you had to leave.
My mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you met in Istanbul, what was your next step?
So at that point we already had a plan to go to United States, and we already have a ticket to Mexico. So we have no visa, and we no have time to get a visa, and it's probably should be very hard at that situation. So we decided to go through the Mexico. It was terrible just thinking about it, because I never think about this way seriously. So I heard a lot about it. People crossing Mexico border, and it sounds like crazy. So I will never do this. And when the war started, and we used to saw YouTube channel of different people who cross the Mexico border like this, and I said, oh my God, they're crazy. We never, I can't do this, never. So never say no. Right. Yeah, so we already have a ticket on Mexico, so we spent a couple days in Istanbul, maybe 3 days or 4, just walking around, just like a tourist, just waiting our plane. And then our issue started. When Turkish Airlines, so they accept us going through all the controls point, but at the last one, when you already can go on the plane, they stop us. So at the last step. So we have no time to prepare it, because they tell us that we have to have ticket to Mexico, and from Mexico exactly at the same city. So Istanbul, Cancun, for example, and Cancun, Istanbul. But we have another one. We have a ticket to Guatemala, because it was cheaper, and somebody advised us this kind of thing because it's pretty cheaper. And they say no. So they, it's like one more option to control Russian people, just a reason to stop somebody. So yeah, and this was awful.
So what did you have to do then?
There was no any new tickets, because the old plane was full till 2 next months. So because in Russia was emergency situation, and a lot of people want to leave the country, and a lot of them go through the Mexico. So there is no open tickets. But I know it was, I don't know, but it was like a miracle, because we have tickets from some app in our phone, and it's rebooked somehow. So they cancel this flight, and this is app rebooked it for just in 3 more days. But we have to pay right now a huge amount, about $10,000 right now, or they sell it to someone else. Yeah, and I have just maybe 5 minutes to decide. Yeah, so we decide to risk.
So you bought those new,
Yep.
you booked the new, and the new one was taking you to Cancun?
Yep, Cancun and Cancun, Istanbul.
Yes.
So like they want from us, what they want from us. Yeah, and my older boy started crying. He was like in a panic attack. So because he's understand that something going on, and he like, oh my gosh, I saw he became shaking. Yeah, and me too.
Right. And was your husband with you at that point?
Yeah, he was like a soldier. He wasn't shocked, I think so. So I was more emotional and start something, create some way out of this problem.
Yeah. And then in 3 days or so, you,
And this is 3 days, felt like 3 years. It was too long because I don't know. I thought that maybe Turkish creates some new reason and decline us again. We don't know. Maybe it's just, the sign from government. I don't know, to stop how much as they can stop this traffic of people. So, and maybe from Mexico, they try to stop this huge traffic too. I think so, because they have to filter the people, yeah. But it was terrible. I remember that I said, if we are not went through this, I will kill myself. So it was very dramatically for me, because I can imagine any country where we can start new life with my family. So it's not about Turkey, I hate it right now. It's not about Georgia, it's not to save for Russian, it's not about, I don't know. I have never been to Europe, maybe just in, but I don't know any other country with so many culture diversity, with so kind people, because I was here twice. Yeah, and I love it a lot. I know how my kids can be feeling here. That's why there is no place in the whole world for me except the US. So I have no idea what to do if it's not gonna happen.
so you got through those 3 days,
Yes,
boarded your plane,
yes.
and then what happened when you got to Cancun?
Yeah, we were so nervous because I saw a lot of people start to communication with the officer on the border, and they took them for some rooms. So it's like it was like interview. They had tried to read the people who is potentially immigrants, because I saw a lot of people with the cats and dogs, and they pretend like they are tourists. I don't know how they can went through the border with cat. So who going from Russia to Mexico for vacation with a cat? So it's look weird. Or it was a lot of single men who was all alone. And we saw in the line that they make a conversation and they are going in another private room. Yeah, and we were very stressed, but we tried to be like a poker face, like we are on a vacation, we're already here. Yeah, and we went through without any issues.
So that allowed you to leave the airport,
Yeah.
right? And so then you were facing a trip north somehow, right?
Yes, it's yeah. So we find a foundation. It's Russian people who based in United States and in Cancun as well, and they help for money to get an appointment on a United States border. So it's a legal appointment, but for help us you have to pay. Yeah. So, but it's okay besides how they going through Tijuana by the car. It's legal. So this way was approximately something legal. Yeah, but we should to go to the north. Yeah, it's what I expected with very bad thoughts. Sometimes I think we're gonna die for sure. So it's like one-way ticket. And I have a chat in my phone with a lot of people like us who communicate all the time. And I saw that a lot of plane decline from Russian people. They stop whole plane, for example, from Mexico to Mexico City to Matamoros. They decline Russian. They do not accept them to go to Matamoros because it's not tourist place. So what you are doing, why you are going there? You are US immigrants for sure. So some, not of them, but some people had a lot of trouble. And I read all this news every day. Oh my gosh. I don't know how we can get there. Yeah. So we were in Cancun about 2 weeks, just waiting this appointment. Then we decided that we can wait forever, so we have to go closer to the border to get this appointment. So after 2 weeks, we get a flights and we will buy a business class tickets, because to decline business class, what I heard, it's like gossip, right? Or how to say gossip?
Oh, gossip.
Yep, that business class, it's more privilege and they cannot decline you. So we bought for whole family business class tickets to go to Matamoros. Yeah, and we won. While I'm here.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and around 1 week we were waiting in Matamoros in one of the Holiday Inn hotel, so it's looked like more safety. Yeah, and when we came in Matamoros, I saw a lot of military people with a gun, too much, just on the street. It's freaking me out, right? Yeah, so, and when they saw us, like a group of white people, definitely some European, of course it's Russian, they became to talk to someone by the ration, or how to say, ration?
Radio?
Radio, by the radio, yeah, and sign on us, something like that. And we are waiting for transfer from our hotel. Yeah, and when we arrived in a hotel, somebody knocked on our door, and it was a Mexican immigration police. It was about 5 persons who took our passports. Yeah, and my husband tried to talk to them, and he speaks English pretty bad. Oh. Yes, and I'm always trying to act in, I'm always trying to manage everything, but at that case, I just paralyzed. And he told, Masha, come here, explain what he wants from us, what I have to answer him, come here, help me. And I can't, I just stuck. I said, that's it. They took our passport. So I'm looking just on my passport. So I'm afraid they can get us, I don't know, put in Mexican jail, whatever. Because I'm not sure it was immigration police or it was a part of cartel, because I think it's all together. No, they just hold it in their hand and asking a question, but hold it. And I don't know how they saw that we have a visa from the Cancun border officer in airport. They stamp a visa, how long you can stay in Mexico. And it's very it's very different in each case. Some of people has a visa for 20 days. Some of them have just for 10 days. Some of them have for 30 days. And we have visa for 6 months. So they have no reason to stop us. So visa for 6 months. So we are all in normal dates, right? So they try to find something illegal, for example, to catch us, but they can't. So, and they say, never come closer to United States border. If we saw you, we took you to the prison, I don't know. Yeah, and then they gave us back our passports. So, how long we should stay here? I went through this. I say, oh my gosh, my nervous system are broken. It was very dangerous.
Yes.
And we stay in a hotel all week long. So I never go away from the hotel, never.
But you knew you had an appointment somewhere. Where was your appointment going to be? On the U.S. side, or do you remember?
Matamoros.
It was going to be right there in Matamoros. So
Yeah, just pretty close to. So it was 20 minutes between our motel and border. So it's way about 20 minutes.
didn't the foundation set you up with a meeting to get in?
Yeah, they send us by email the paper that at that date, at that time, you have to be at this border location and going through the border. Yeah, so some transfer pick us up at 4 in the morning, and this is 20 minutes, looks like, too long, because I knew that sometimes the cartel stop on the road and cross the road and do not let people go in. So I'm just praying all the time, just get closer to the border. And when I saw the tent, it's a lot of black, maybe African or some people who just living with kids on a tent, on the ground, near the border. So they slept there, they eating there. And I said, okay, we are safe here. If they are living here in tent by the sky, so we are safe. Yeah, and it was a huge bridge through the Rio Grande River, yeah, where the people just fallen in line, in order. So we just stop here. Yeah, and I saw somewhere United States flags.
Yes.
So, okay, we're safe. Now, our trip, I hope, is over.
And then you got to cross the bridge, or did someone process you?
Yeah, it was a lot of officers who met us, who put us in different lines. It's depend on which time was an appointment. So then we go through the huge tent, and it was a lot of officers in it. Some of them took our fingerprints, some of them took the COVID test from the throat. Some of them make some questions, took our passports, asked different, official question, like what's the last name of your mother, or do you have sister or brother? So it was very nice. They gave us snacks, a water, some treats for kids. So it was absolutely respectful. So absolutely. And my husband said, oh my gosh, it's really happened. Somewhere the people communicate like this. Is it true? Is it real? Yeah. So, and when I'm going to the restroom, it was outside the tent. It was a restroom, and it's got the most, feeling. I always remember that restroom. It was so clean. It was so nice. I was shocked, oh my gosh, it's just a restroom. Yeah. And we wait in about 8 hours. Yeah.
And then you finally got some permission.
Yes, some permission for, yeah, for. So then when we get out from tent on the U.S. side, we took a picture of welcome to United States, and we tried to find some fast food to find a Wi-Fi. Yeah, and then where we can get a Wi-Fi, we get an Uber, and we booked the hotel in Brownsville for a couple days just to rest. Yes, and that's it. Then we plan our way to here, to Baraboo, because when I was a student, I have a couple friends here who lives here more than 20 years, and they help us a lot. Yeah, and then we're going from Brownsville by Greyhound to St. Louis, from St. Louis by plane to Colorado, from Colorado to Madison, and then they met us.
Wow. And how long did all that take to get?
Maybe one day.
Oh,
So one after another.
yes.
No, maybe 2 days, because 2 days. We stay in San Antonio, not St. Louis. I was wrong.
Oh, okay.
San Antonio. Yeah, we stay in a hotel for one night after we came from the Greyhound.
So was it still November?
It's December
It was.
December 10.
So you arrived in Baraboo. Did you have any plans once you had gotten to a safe place? What will you do next? I mean,
In Baraboo. So it's funny. I just realized it right now that we came to River Edge in Wisconsin Dells resort for fishing at summer. So we arrived in River Edge, and we stayed there because it was some friends of friends who own this River Edge, and he rent us a house. So my husband start his traveling from fishing trip, and done it in a fishing house, but in winter. And when we arrived, there was no snow. It was like a dry roads. And day after, it became a white, huge, beautiful snow, and it's covered all of this. And my husband, oh my gosh, where were I? So it's beautiful, beautiful snows everywhere. So everything was so white, like start a new life from white list. So it's looked like white list, and from fishing it starts, and at fishing it ending. Yeah, and then our friends already prepared to rent for some apartment, and we have some appointment to visit. And then he took me, because my husband say, let's Masha decide where we're gonna live. She have to approve our apartment, not me. I don't care. And we are going with my friends and take a look of some options, what we have. Yeah, and we still live there. Yeah, it's a nice, new, and peaceful house. House? Apartment neighborhood.
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 Okay.
Yep. Some nice, new, and beautiful.
What are some challenges once you got into your nice neighborhood, and what challenges did you have after that?
I think just to build a new routine from the zero. We have no car, we have no credit cards, we have no credit scores, we have we have cash, but we have no nothing. and it was very hard to communicate to people. So I don't know. So we have so many things to do right now: to apply children to school, to get meals, to buy grocery, find grocery stores, so to apply for some checking account. But it's what our friends advise us. We just have to realize this advice, because they say you have to avoid mistakes.
What kind of mistakes?
Everything. So you have to find a good lawyer, you have to choose a school, you have to build a credit history, you have to buy a car, you have to pay rent, you have to pay bills, create all these accounts for electricity, for water, you have get the work authorization, because you can't work without. So you can work somewhere, somehow, but it's not enough for family of four. So yeah, so you have to find a lawyer. You have to find a lawyer, and this is a big step and big decision to find a lawyer. How to find the lawyer, where to find the lawyer. I don't want a Russian lawyer. I want a just American lawyer. I don't know, I just trust them. I don't want to communicate with any Russian. So yeah, and maybe I was acting about 6 months every day. So we apply for English classes at medicine technical college. So we start to teach in English. We have to so many little steps every day, very many. And we try to communicate with the family all the time. So just to keep this connection.
With your family?
With my mother and with a sister-in-law. Yeah, and after 6 months, I just fallen asleep. You know, when I'm all set, I just fallen asleep. I guess I still keep sleeping a lot, just to, I don't know, restart my brains, to put on pause my nervous system. I don't know. So I slept maybe 20 hours per day. Too many, I think so. Yeah, we have to find some insurance, health insurance, all things, everything from smaller to bigger. Yeah, and I so grateful for my friend who helped us. Yeah, a lot, so many. I still grateful for him all the time and in touch with him, because I don't know, I didn't see him about 20 years, and we were not so close, and he's helped us so many. Just it's like a stranger.
Yes.
Because we were students, we were so young, and we're nothing to each other. And he helped us to build our life here. So he have to be here too. And now I try to help another people. Yeah, if I can, I try to help a lot.
And how do you do that?
So I have neighbors right now who's Russian speakers, but they are from Azerbaijan. It's another country. It was in Soviet Union, and they are a little bit speaking Russian, not too much, but better than me in English, and it's enough to communicate with them. And I help them to go to the dentist for kids, apply for budget care insurance. Yesterday we spent about 4 hours in a hospital with their kids. So I drive them to the college to try to help them to apply for ESL classes all the time, to try to apply for credit cards, to build a credit history. So everything step what I went through, now I try to help them. And that because the kids, I was a bilingual assistant at school, at Baraboo School District. I have a Russian speaker kids to integrate at school, and their kids was my, how to say, students. Yeah, and I feel some responsibility. And they were living in a trailer park. And when I saw the house, I said, oh my gosh, you can't stay here. You can't. It's depression. It's awful. It's dangerous. I don't know. You have to move in some beautiful, peaceful place. And I helped them to move in my neighborhood because I can imagine how kids live in there. For me, it was terrible, and as I saw how mother was nervous there, and how she get a heart attacks because I don't know, because it's stressful. She just arrived in January, and I realized how she's feeling, and I know she has to be in a beautiful place for mental health. I don't know. Yeah, and now she's good, and I still try to help them because I want to.
You've made good connections here, and you're doing good. You're passing on favor. You're helping people. Any other positive experiences that stand out in your mind?
The most of positive, it's about how people at school welcome my kids. So I'm so grateful for these people. So I never met some aggression nowhere, but I aware that it might be. But at school it was, I don't know, I started crying a huge time because it's something wonderful when the principal of school stand up on his knee just to say hi to my younger son because he's too short and this principal is too long, and he just stand on his knee. He say, hey buddy, how are you? Welcome. Oh my gosh, it's, I don't know, my heart is... and the first teacher of my older son, she was wonderful, from East School. It's Mrs. Rendio, maybe you know her. Becky, Rendio, Becky.
Yes.
She's perfect. I don't know. I never met the woman like she. She invited us to the circus. She hiking with us on Davis Lake. She put all thing in classes on Russian language. So this is the desk, this is the chair, and it was with the Russian translated for my son. And she sent a card for my older boy when he has a birthday in the middle of July. So he remembered about it. And when I saw her, she's always hugging me and she texting me all the time. So she's a holy woman. She's a perfect, I don't know. So from the bottom of my heart, I love her so much. Yeah, and it's so many good people here. Maybe you are living here and you do not realize it, but I have a different culture, different country to compare with. It's the huge gap between us. It's like different planets. So thank you. All of you.
What could make your current living situation here better?
If my husband will find some unique skills to go somewhere to teach, to learn something, some professional, some education, because now he working pretty hard. I'm afraid about his health. He's a truck driver, I don't know, too many times, too many days, and too many hours per day. So I just want that he choose something and go to study somewhere. Yeah, and my English.
Do you ever see getting a chance to be with your family back home?
I think so, yes. I imagine that we met each other on a third country. So when we get some documents, but I'm not sure about my mother because she's too old And for her, it's very hard to make some decision, and to move to the grocery for her, it's like a big trip. So I don't know, maybe someone followed her. But she said to me that the best part, so like I broke the birth circle of our family history. So I'm the first person who broke this circle, and now to give my kids a new opportunity for new life, because Russia is going by circle. It's issue after issue all the time. People, everything. So never gonna live better. So it's around couple century. It's all over again. So it's never became better. And she said, you stop this circle and give the chance for your kids to start a absolutely, completely different life. So she said, for me, it's like my win. It doesn't matter what's gonna happen with me, so we won. It's all what's the matter. Yeah, and maybe if we will have a chance to meet somewhere, somehow, it's okay if not. And she said, if I die, never come back in Russia. So just remember about me, just thinking about me, but do not coming back here. Yeah, but I still have a hope.